Hi friends, welcome back. So we've got a comment coming in from a member of the community. This is from Khalees just 3 hours ago. That says, hold on to your tinfoil hat. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And all I have to say is yes, yes it is. It's a crazy world that we live in, guys. And in this particular world, you can get away with fraud. I was thinking about this. I'm talking about the Musk situation with Tesla stock and Tesla, etc., regarding full self-driving. That doesn't really be full self-driving. You still have to monitor the thing, and yet they still label it full self-driving and sell it to the public. You guys know what I'm talking about. We talk about this all the time on the channel. He's under investigation by the government, but I think from Musk's point of view, he's buying up influence and may be able to sort of make all of these investigations magically go away. Now, what does it have to do with sort of the situation that we're in right now? It relates to because we're kind of in a post-truth, post-fact world, unfortunately. And I saw this article, but I've already seen the evidence for myself. There's all kinds of wild conspiracies going on Musk's platform. It is absolutely crazy. Moreover, markets are already kind of predicting a Trump victory. So Musk is, getting influence and sort of buddies with Trump, and then they got Trump victory. And already, Trump hasn't won yet, but it seems to be at least markets are predicting that way. Bitcoin is already going up, thinking that the odds of Trump a victory is heading higher. So there's that. Now, why do I care about this kind of stuff? I mean, I think it matters. I personally care about truth and facts. That's just my opinion and stuff. Some people have a different opinion. Some people's like, you can say whatever you like all day, every day. And I want to caution you on the dangers of that. On Musk Platform X, I saw it for myself. We talked about this like live when we were trying to figure out, say, the identity of the shooter at the Trump rally. And there was an account, Adrian Dittman, who's connected to Musk, right? And many of the people in that camp, many accounts out there were promoting a particular identity of the shooter that turned out to be false. And I just want you to think about the ramifications of just putting some, random person's name out there and random picture of said person, right? Saying, oh, this is the shooter, this is the killer, and it ended up not being true. That is really, really, really dangerous. And so, for me, guys, I think media companies need to have caution with this kind of stuff. But, this is the world that we live in, where you have all of these sort of loyalists to Mr. Musk say, oh, you can say anything that you want, accuse anyone of murder anytime you want. So be it, right? Be very, very cautious about that kind of talk. Be very, very cautious. Here's another example of why I think Musk can get away with this basically fraud and saying whatever the heck he wants. This is a headline coming on March 7, 2024. Musk says he won't donate to either presidential candidate, right? But then just recently, July 13, 2024, Musk donates to Trump, tapping fortune to swing 2024 race. This kind of stuff, right, guys, when it's like from Musk's own words, says, I'm not going to give to anyone, and then basically backs on that. What is going on here, because he'll say, no, I didn't lie. I'm just giving to a super PAC, right? A political action committee. It's not really going to Trump. I'm giving to an organization that supports Trump. This is the kind of gray areas that Musk always, does. We don't know exactly how much money it is. It'll be reported soon. They said July 15th was the date. So we'll see how much that is. But I think Musk is buying influence. And again, I think he's going to get away with fraud. And I think we're going to see an increase of misinformation, unfortunately. Musk has already fully endorsed President Trump. You guys can see this here. I made a video about this before, but I want to dig deeper into this thing because I want to sort of illustrate sort of how we got to this point and why the world is so crazy that it is. Let's go back to 2002, guys, right here. There was an article back here, Enron's collapse, the politicians. Enron spread contributions on both sides of the aisle. So basically, Enron was a big fraud, if you guys remember back then, and they were buying up influence like crazy. It says right here, Enron has written campaign checks to 3/4 of senators and nearly half of the members of the House, and that was both Democrats and Republicans. It was absolutely nuts. So don't think that like the Musk is the first time in history where companies, or CEOs try to buy influence among politicians to try to get themselves out of, any sort of legal entanglements. Moreover, talking about our current media situation, there's a couple of historical things that I want to point out. There's also involves both parties, and we don't talk about this stuff enough, but it matters a lot. This has to do with the FCC, okay? So we used to have this thing called the fairness doctrine, and the basic ideas was if you're gonna do a controversial subject or topic, you're gonna try your best to present it fairly, right? So it's not a crazy idea. However, under Reagan, they actually rolled back this stuff, right? The basic argument that they were making is that this is all about free speech, right? So you don't need to be fair because we've got to promote free speech. It says right here in '85 under FCC Chairman Mark S. Fowler, a communications attorney who had served on Reagan's presidential campaign in '76 to '80, the FCC released its report on the general fairness doctrine obligation, stating that the doctrine hurt the public interest and violated free speech rights that guaranteed by the First Amendment. And this is like a really, really, really important change to our system. And I want to emphasize this, that it goes more than that. It actually goes with Clinton as well. You guys might know this. This was back in '96. So first you have, at one point in history, we had this idea that, hey, we're not just going to make up random stuff up. We're also not going to have news organizations that are going to be, heavily opinionated or leaning one side or the other. We have this fairness thing. And if you're not going to be fair, you're going to lose your license, right? You can't have a station anymore. And then the argument, right, the Reagan people made, hey, it's free speech, etc., right? So we can say whatever we want, and we don't have to be fair. And then in '96, under Clinton, you had the Telecommunications Act of 1996. The basic gist of this one was that we can let weapons companies, or for example, tobacco companies, just for example, any companies, or even for example, Musk car companies, take ownership of whatever media companies, and you start to get major conflicts of interest. So that's the two big changes. Of the one on the Reagan was like talking about the content, and then under the Clinton stuff, you're talking about ownership. Here it says, I'll just read it to you guys. It says the primary goal of the law, it's about '96 one, was to let anyone enter the communications business, to let any communication business compete in any market against any other. Thus, the statute is often described as an attempt to deregulate the American broadcasting and telecommunications market due to technological convergence. And this goes to where we are today. You have these platforms like X that just let conspiracy theories run wild. You can claim free speech, right? I'm telling you can, but we run some real risks of people just purposely putting out misinformation, etc. And also too, you have the risk of risk. But you guys know this, like bot accounts, AI accounts, etc. That just spread like wildfire any kind of information or messages that they want. The thing that happens is that for just unsuspecting people, you think maybe all these 100 hot girls are your friends, and they want to cuddle with you all night or whatever. You have that world of like they're out to scam you, basically get your money, or you have this other world of like all these people who look like they're your neighbors, but it's just a bunch of fake accounts that are all kind of pushing you to believe certain kinds of things. Or if you want to talk about your TV media, something like this. Headline, Fox and Dominion reached $787 million settlement over election claims. Basically, right, Fox was saying all these untruths about Dominion. Dominion sued and won. And I bring this up because even though we live in the world of where social media, you can spread whatever nonsense that you want. Sometimes though, you cross the wrong line or cross the wrong people's toes, and they're going to sue you and actually win. And this is a case where hopefully truth can prevail, but we'll see. Because I think if you got enough money on your side and you're sort of, how can I say, influencing the right politicians in the Musk situation, you may get away with fraud. Moreover, guys, and I mean, I find this a real concern, and if you don't, I don't know what to say, but for me, I find it really concerning. The situation in USA, though, isn't the same around the world. Because my wife and I live in Korea. We always talk about this. I always ask my wife, like, why don't we just have, like, essentially loonies and crazies on TV here in Korea on our news, like, say, what you see in USA? It's because the laws are different. The laws are different here. You can't just make random stuff up. They actually have real conversations. They have mature discussions on Korean news. It's real. If you watch USA News, it's a clown show, and it's entertainment. That's what it is. Now I can't speak for every country in the EU. I can't. So you guys can let me know on that. I just don't know how that compares to American news. But I can say the EU has different laws regarding technology. Whereas, say, like if Trump gets elected, chances are many of the antitrust and monopoly type, things that are going against Google, Microsoft, Tesla, these kind of stuff, maybe all that stuff goes away because Trump will be more favorable, to helping these big corporations get away with whatever. And you, if you're on the side of no, that's awesome. We should let big corporations do whatever they want. That's your opinion, that's your prerogative. But I'm just saying, it's not like that in every country. Some countries are cracked down a little bit harder or differently on big companies. So in this situation, like for example, EU said, hey, Musk, with your blue checkmarky thing on Twitter, X, it deceives people because anyone now can buy a blue check mark, right? Anyone, right? Even a fake account can buy a blue check mark. And it gives the appearance that that's like an official source of information / news. I've mentioned this before in a prior video, but I just want to mention it again. So EU, is much tougher than say the USA. USA's laws are really, really weak on this kind of stuff. And that's where I'm thinking like Musk can get away with anything now and may get away with fraud over at Tesla. And also too, you got to bring this up. For those who say, oh no, Musk is all about free speech. He loves free speech, etc. Not necessarily. Headline here, this is back on last year, May 14th, 2023. Twitter's Elon Musk defends decision to limit tweets in Turkey during tight presidential election. So basically, the government in Turkey is like, yo, there's a couple people we want you to silence for us because they're saying things that we don't like. And Musk's like, oh, yeah, I'll help you out. So this idea that Musk is all about free speech is just simply not true. But I get it, guys. I get it. There's this like army of enablers that sort of let him say whatever heck he wants. He's on a platform that spreads whatever information that disinformation that he wants, and it's going to continue that way. And moreover, I think there's a high chance he gets away with fraud here. Remember, Musk is under all kinds of investigations, and we'll see. It is a frustrating time. Trust me, it's a frustrating time. I emailed a friend of mine that lives in LA, just say, hey, how are you feeling about what's going on? And because for me, I guess two big concerns. One is I really don't like the violence in USA. Right? It's awful. I don't know, like I don't know, like if anyone likes it. I don't. I don't want any violence at all. It's awful, and it's all places. It's terrible. And my friend in LA is like, now they got, this is a real headline. I didn't even hear about this one. This is crazy. LA gangsters use painter suits, assault rifles, and zip ties for brazen armored car heists. It's like, what the heck is going on over there? And then he said there was some situation where, like, I guess there's these gangs that are running around stealing guns and then selling them on the black market or whatever. It's just like the availability of weapons is massive. And I don't want to get in the whole gun debate thing with people, but I'll just say this: like, I live here, and I don't worry about regular citizens having weapons. It's not a thing. Whereas in USA, like for example, the discussion is, why didn't you why didn't Secret Service take out the shooter sooner? Why didn't they shoot them sooner? But like my thinking is like, oh, why do these people have guns at all, right? And it's like, it's a whole other way of thinking. The same way of like, with the EU situation is like, okay, we're going to crack down harder on social media or whatever. Countries have different rules on their TV. Do you have to be fair or not fair? Can I just put misinformation on TV? Will I keep my license to broadcast? So here in Korea, it's very, very strict, and every country is going to be different on their enforcement. So it's a very different environment over here. It doesn't mean that we don't have crazy people on the internet writing whatever crazy stuff. We certainly do, right? Just like everywhere else. But in terms of broadcast media, it is a very different environment. And also too, I always ask my wife about this all the time. Because if you watch American YouTube, it's nuts. There's like scammers everywhere. There's like liars everywhere. It's rampant on American YouTube, right? And we talk about the different scams of various channels all the time on this channel because there's so many, and you have to like point people out because they easily fool people. I don't know, for whatever reason here in Korea, the audiences are different. If you want to watch like a financial news channel or business news channel, it's like someone who wears a tie or someone like at least respectable. It's not like someone who shaves their head, has green hair one day, green hair another day, drinking on live on their stream, that kind of stuff. It's like really, really different. America is what it is, but I just, unfortunately, and I don't know how to state it, but just I see it continually going down the path of more lawlessness, and if you, I guess, you have the right influence, you can get away with fraud. It's a thing. So that's sort of why I was talking about the Elon Musk thing, starting with that. I think is a real chance that we're going to see more craziness on X and more fraud from Elon Musk. I think that's what's going to be happening. So anyway, just wanted to share some thoughts of sort of how we got to this point. I want to hear yours as well on this, and I'll catch you in the next video.